Thank you for joining the session. My name is Paul McGuinness, and I'm going to take you through this Megaport Live Tech Drop-In session today. Today, I'm going to cover Megaport Internet. So we'll start off just with a few details about Megaport. We are a network as a service provider, so we offer our services around the world in real time, allowing you to provision the services that you need through a self-serve, easy-to-use portal so that you can provision private connectivity, all sorts of different services from data center to data center. You can connect data center to cloud, cloud to cloud, virtual firewalling, internet exchange, lots of different services that we can offer. We offer these services in many locations around the world. You can see a map here that's always growing and changing. These are the locations where Megaport is present. It's a Megaport network that we deploy in lots of different data center providers. So we have a mix of data center operators around the world, over 100 of those, so that you have a choice of where you connect into the Megaport network or where you deploy virtual services. And you can see this information on the Megaport webpage. If you go to megaport.com and look at the locations, we also show you the latency between all of these different locations as well, so that you can make informed choices and see what the latency is, which is always optimized on our network. But yeah, down to the topic for today, we're talking about Megaport Internet. So as it says here, it's a scalable on-demand service that you can provision with a virtual cross connect, a VXC, and it allows you to connect to the public internet from Megaport ports, from the Megaport Cloud Router, or from the Megaport Virtual Edge. You have these options available to you inside the portal or through API. So you can provision reliable backup links if you want to. So deploy it in a redundant way from your ports, MCRs, and MVEs. You can turn the bandwidth up and down, and you can go into a term as well if you're looking for a longer term connection with maybe some better pricing. And even if you lock yourself into a term, for example, if you took a 1 gig Megaport internet connection and you needed to scale up to 10 gig for a few hours to move a lot of data around, then you could do that. So even though you've got that term, you still have flexibility on the virtual cross connect as well. So how do you do that? Do you call somebody up? Do you fill in some forms? No, you just go straight to the portal, make the change, and that happens immediately. Like I said, it's available in lots of different locations. So the graphic here is really just showing you, from a virtual edge. You can, any location you have a virtual edge, you can connect to the Megaport Internet. And the virtual edge can actually connect to any internet location that you want. So for example, you could provision a virtual edge device with a Fortinet firewall connecting to cloud in Germany. You can then connect that to internet in Spain or the US or Australia. You're not constrained as to where that internet could be provisioned. It's fully open to where you want to have that internet appearing from that virtual edge device. From the MCR, our virtual router, and from the physical ports, 10 gig, 100 gig typically, these are available in certain markets. So they're available in the US, in Canada, UK, Netherlands, Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore. And we're working on more markets all of the time. If you provision Megaport Internet from these services, then you'll get the local internet connection with a blue and red option. And we'll see that in the demo shortly. So what does it look like? Well, this is what it would look like in a single metro. In this metro, you can bring up the edge services, port, MCR, MVE, and then you can connect those to Megaport Internet, either red or blue. Those are connected to separate major ISPs, and we've got failover between those as well. If one of the ISPs had an issue, then there would be failover from one to the other. You can also connect if you wanted, for example, to have a port. You could connect that to both red and blue. If you had a scenario around that, then that is fully supported as well. So a little bit of the details before we go into the demo. So instant provisioning, as I said, you just set it up immediately. There's no installation fee. It's immediately available onto your access services. You can scale it. It goes as low as 20 megabits per second and it goes up to 10 gig. And you can turn up and down that virtual cross connect to suit your needs. And even you can do that on a term as well. We've got flexible terms, so you can just have it on month to month, 12 month, 24, 36 months, so that you can choose the term that you want. You can start with a flexible term and move that into a longer term if you want to as well. You've got diversity with BGP, so that's set up for resilience to minimize any disruption as well. And the service comes with public IP addresses, so you get a /31 for IPv4 and a /64 for IPv6. And then we do have some other options as well. If you don't want to take the default option, then we have support for bring your own IP with a minimum of a /24. And there are some Megaport provider IP options. We can provide you with, let's say, a /28, /29 to advertise over BGP as well. Just talk to a Megaport solution architect for the details around that. Okay, so let me just go into the Megaport portal. Here we've got a view of a global view just showing, I don't have any services in this particular account provision. So let's just zoom in here on Europe and let's zoom in down to London. And we can see these are all data centers. The individual pins, the number means that there are a number of DCs behind that particular black dot. Okay, so we got a lot of data centers in the middle of London. Let's go around. So we could see we've got Digital Realty LHR20. We've got Equinix LD8 down here, a new one for us, Atlas Edge, and then we've got Digital Realty over here as well. We'll choose this LUN2 site, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a port in here. So I'm just going to quickly create this port so that we can get to the internet connectivity, but we've got options to create 10 gig or 100 gig or 1. So let's go ahead and create a 100 gig port. So this is 5. We're just going to take the defaults here and we're going to quickly create that port. So that gets added to the shopping cart over here on the left, and I can go ahead and order. So it's that easy to bring on an edge service in a data center location. Now, this port will be live in about a minute. We'll get a letter of authorization on that port as well. We can see that it's in diversity zone red. We can see the service ID for it. But this port just needs a cross connect to it. So I'm not going to be able to do a cross connect today, but we can start and create services off that. So if we go ahead and click on plus connection, these are all the things that you can connect to this port. So we've got all the major cloud providers, AWS, Google, Azure, for example, as well. We've got the option to connect to over 20 internet exchanges around the world. We've got Megaport Marketplace, where we've got lots of different providers offering their services over the Megaport Marketplace, which is also a meeting place or an exchange for different types of services, like our AI exchange is on there as well, if you need to get to AI resources or an AI community. And we also have the financial services exchange on the Megaport Marketplace as well, which is hugely popular with our customers. The last option here is you can enter a service key, and this allows you to connect to third parties on the Megaport network. So if you have suppliers, if you have partners, if you have other sister companies, you can connect to those over the Megaport network. You just tell that partner to get themselves a connection on Megaport anywhere in the world, and then we can connect the two together using this secure service key. The other one here that's grayed out, that's grayed out because I only have a single port on this account. But if I had other services around the world, I could use a private VXC to connect port to port, port to virtual elements as well. But down to what we're interested in today, we've got the Megaport Internet option. Now, our port is in the red zone, so we would typically choose red here, but we do have the option to choose blue if we want to. And we have a new feature here. We can see the uh, milliseconds, so the latency between these two locations is 1 millisecond. It's basically just going across London. So on the next page, we basically just add in the things that we want for this virtual cross connect. We can add a VLAN for the A end, so a VLAN that will appear on this port in Digital Realty. We can choose the term and we can add tags if we want to, but we basically just get a summary for that. We add the VXC and then it goes into order. So over here on the left-hand side, we go through and we order that. So now you can see on the map, we've got the location where the port is, we've got the VXC going across London, and we've get into, it just happens to be Digital Realty as well, where we've got a core location in LHR20, where the internet router is for us there down in London Docklands. So if we go in and have a look at this, we can also view this under the services area as well. So we can see the port here at the top. We can see the Megaport Internet here at the bottom. Click into this Megaport Internet. We can look at the details that have been provisioned. We can see the term here. We can look at Megaport Internet, where we've got some options for configuration of customer ASN and BGP passwords. And then we can actually see the assigned IPv4 and IPv6 addresses here and the gateway addresses. We can see the diversity zones as well and the price for that. So that's it. Just to summarize, you've got your Megaport Internet offerings around the world. If you're connecting on a Megaport Virtual Edge, you can get that from any Megaport Virtual Edge location, and that can connect to any Megaport Internet that we have globally. For ports and MCRs, those are available in certain cases in Canada, in the US, UK, Netherlands, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand. More places are coming online as well. So that's it. Reach out if you need more information. There's a lot more detail, obviously, around internet connectivity. Connect to Megaport and use a Megaport solution architect if you need to talk about any of this in more detail. But with that, I'll thank you for joining, and we'll see you on the next session.